3 AI tabs open right now, trying to figure out which one is the one to use for your family history. Close 2 of them. The advice you got in 2025, a different AI tool for every task, was good advice in 2025. It's the wrong advice now. And I'll prove it to you later in this video by running the same real task through 2 AI tools side by side, and the result is not what it would have been a year ago. Stay for that test, and I'll show you what changed. But first, what happened since 2025? I'm Denyse Allen. I run Chronicle Makers, where people use AI to finish the family stories their research started. Here's where this all comes from. I asked my community what was tripping them up with AI right now. And one answer that came back over and over in different words was that there were too many AI tools and I don't know which one to use. So I keep switching around and I feel like I'm not really good at any of them. And I really felt that because this was the thing that I used to teach. And I was probably part of the reason people were experiencing this. Last year in 2025, I made videos comparing Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity. And that framing made sense back in 2025 when the tools were genuinely different. They're not that different anymore. And I want to walk you through 3 things today. What actually changed, why one tool now beats 4 tools, and how to choose that one tool that's right for you so you can stop hopping between AI tools and start finishing your work. Here's what changed. In 2025, the tools had real gaps. One was clearly better at working with long documents. One was clearly better at reasoning and thinking through problems. One had web search and other ones didn't. And so splitting your work across them actually made sense. You were using each one for the thing it did really well. But in 2026, those gaps are pretty much closed. And I'm going to show you that later in this video. I'll give you the same family history task with 2 tools at the same time, and you can watch the results come back side by side. Because here's what this means, this big change to the tools. The only reason to use the 4 tools has completely disappeared, but the habit of doing it hasn't changed. People are still talking about hopping between tools and trying this one out and doing that one and paying for all of them. But the problem is that once you do that, you never really get fluent at any single one tool. And that fluency is the whole game. And here's why. When you commit to one tool, something happens that never happens when you're switching. You get fluent. You learn how it likes to be talked to. You build up a way of working with it. It starts to remember your projects and your style. And that 100th conversation is dramatically better than the very first one, but only if all 100 are with the same tool. When you split it across 4 tools, you're permanently on conversation number 1 with all of them, and 4 shallow relationships instead of 1 deep one. You never really get to the good part of working with the AI tool. The person who picks just one decent tool and goes deep with it will run circles around the person with 4 paid subscriptions and no fluency in any tool. It was never about having the best model, despite what you might hear. It's about actually knowing how to use the AI model you already have. So the only real question left is, which one do you commit to? So forget which one is best at a benchmark. The right tool for you is actually the one you will open every day. So here are the 3 honest questions to ask yourself. Number 1, what do you mostly do when it comes to your family history? If you're mostly writing your family stories, then lean on a tool that writes in a voice that you like. If you're mostly wrangling records and documents, lean towards a tool that handles files and big complex tasks the best. Match the tool to the actual work and not to what everyone else is talking about. Number 2, What's already the tool that's in your life? What ecosystem are you already in? The tool that probably will work for you and fit the best is the one that you don't have to think about reaching for and going to go get when it comes time to doing your work. And number 3, which tool feels good to talk to? Now, I know this one sounds kind of soft and squishy, but it's really the most important one. You'll spend time and go deep and work with a tool that feels good to you. So try your tool with real task, real serious work, not just chatting, and notice which one is the one you'd rather keep working with. So that is how to pick your tool. Pick on those 3, not on the benchmarks, not the one that people have the most hype about right now. And this is actually the instruction I'm going to give you right now. Just stop looking at other AI tools for 90 days. Just tune it all out and go deep into the tool that you picked instead of wide. Here's the test I promised. Same record, same prompt, 2 different tools. A year ago, one of these would have clearly beaten the other. Now, let's look at them. Here we are going to do a comparison between ChatGPT and Claude. For ChatGPT, I'm using auto mode. For Claude, I'm using the Sonnet model in medium, which is the default mode. The prompt I'm using is a very simple one for transcribing a death certificate and then getting some analysis about that. We want the contextual historical information and the legal information about this document, just whatever they could provide. I am dragging in to the field here the actual certificate, and it looks exactly like this on both AI models that I'm using. And you can see it's a pretty basic death certificate. The handwriting's not great, but it's not particularly terrible until we get here to the cause of death, in which case things are a little iffy. I'm not really sure what that is, and I want to know more about that in particular, but I don't want to lead the AI with that. So we're just going to let these go and see what happens. While it's running, just wanted to point out that there's 3 parts I'm asking the AI to do. The first is the transcription, where each field should be transcribed exactly as written. The second is the contextual information. And then the third is a request for anything unusual that AI identifies about this death certificate in particular. This is my second set of eyes on this, and let's see what it comes up with. ChatGPT came back first with the transcription. Claude came back fairly soon after that. And let's see how they did. Looks like so far pretty much the same. We've got our particulars here. I do like the way Claude did it in bullet points and just kind of lined everything up right here. Total difference here on the filing. ChatGPT says June 12th, 1911. Claude says June 13th, 1911. Has an H.M. Neville. Registrar over here is H.D. Wolford. Those are vastly different. This is definitely a circumstance where I would need to get in here and read it myself. We have the same cause of death. They didn't have a problem, either AI, in reading these. And special information. All right, so here we have our historical context. Cause of death, that it was a bacterial skin infection. And let's see what ChatGPT has. Same thing about the form, cause of death. Yep, the bacterial skin infection. Group A strep right here is right here. Before penicillin, it could progress to sepsis and death. Ooh, severe cases read as high as 30% historically. Roughly a 2-week course from onset to death, as recorded here, is consistent with serious, untreated, or poorly treated cases in a 53-year-old woman well before antibiotics existed. And ChatGPT says the same thing right here. And then the sources it quoted right here are things I could follow up with. Oh, this one's a good find. This Osler's Principles of Medicine, early 20th century, that's historically contemporary to the time. So here are some things that Claude pointed out. ChatGPT picked out single cause of death. Might have been a question. No contributor. Closure is good. Internal consistency across the document. Maiden name was unusual. And Claude also said maiden name wasn't stated. So, or was unusual. So you can see that across these two models, the difference really isn't that large. It really becomes a personal preference. Do you like the style of ChatGPT? Do you like the style of Claude? They both provided a high quality job in terms of transcription and this analysis around this document. As my grandmother would say, it was 6 of one and half dozen of another. People who love to talk about AI want you chasing the newest tool every month because there's always a shinier one, always a reason to switch, always something new coming out. But for the work you're actually trying to do, finishing your family stories, chasing shiny objects is actually the enemy of finishing. The people getting real results with AI in 2026 are not the ones spending hundreds of dollars a month on AI tools. They picked one tool, got really fluent at it, and got their work done. It's commitment that's the unlock here, not the next model. You have permission to stop shopping around and start finishing your work. In 2026, the models converged, and the reason to juggle 4 tools is gone. The fluency, the work, the deep work that you do with the tool that you have beats 4 tools that you don't really use that well. So pick your tool, pick an ecosystem, pick the one that feels good to talk to, and then go deep and don't look at any other tools for 90 days. And if you want help going deep with your one tool, the prompts, the workflows, the way I actually use it on my own ancestors, that's what I send to my email list. Grab this month's free download. Link is below, and you're in on the list, and we'll be getting all the ways to talk about and think about these tools. So which AI tool are you committing to? Say it out loud, put it in the comments. I read everyone.